maybe Riley Sager's back. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna actually enjoy this one. We'll see. Oh my gosh, I haven't filmed in so long. Hey everybody, and welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Hello and hi. Yes, I am recovering from Charlie. Okay, the dog wants to be in this. Hi Charlie, do you want to be in this vlog with me? So the time is now upon us. It is that time of the year where the new Riley Sager book has come out, and as a result, I will be vlogging my read of the new Riley Sager book. Since I'm sick and can't be bothered to physically read this, I'm just gonna bite the bullet, get the free Audible credit so I can get this book read ASAP, and then film a live, spoiler-filled live reaction, so don't be expecting any coherence. Look, he is so needy. So this video is probably just gonna be me telling you about what's happening in the book, reacting, trying to guess who the killer is, and trying to guess what the hell is going on. And then from there, we're gonna just have some fun, have a grand old time. Hopefully, Riley Sager is back writing books that I like, because I truly miss the Riley Sager of yesteryear. Best of luck to me, best of luck to us, Charlie. Hopefully this book doesn't disappoint, right, Angel? All right, I will see you when the book comes out, and check in soon. Expect fucking chaos, okay? Bye.
Later that day.
All right, hey everyone, the time is here, the time is now, and it is that time of the year where the new Riley Sager book is out. If you couldn't tell by my freaking voice, I am afflicted with sickness. I'm pretty sick right now. It's kind of serious. I'm on antibiotics. I've been sick for quite a long time, and I've just been feeling like shit, basically. But I'm on antibiotics now, and I'm just chilling. There was no work today. There's no work tomorrow, so I'm just gonna be lying down here on this couch, as you can see, with the heater and my caramel fudge Tim Tams, okay? So, I'm gonna be listening to the new Riley Sager book. I'm gonna be giving a spoiler vlog. This is something I do every year. It's kind of a ritual. I sincerely hope that I did not waste an Audible credit, because I'm really sick and I just don't have the attention span to physically read a book, so I'm just gonna have someone fucking read it to me. And we're gonna just take it from there, okay? So I'm gonna update you with spoilers, and we're gonna do this. And is Riley Sager's new book gonna be a bop or a flop? I am genuinely scared and concerned, but we will go on this journey together, okay? Okay.
A few moments later.
All right, hi. So I've been listening for about an hour and a half, and it's kind of giving Turn of the Key meets Verity. The writing is significantly better than his last book, so that in itself is an improvement. But the storyline is, you know, very derivative. It's very been there, done that, seen all this before. So I'm kind of just like iffy about what this is gonna be like. But yeah, I went into this book knowing nothing, and basically we follow this girl named Kit, who is this caregiver, and she has this very troubled past where someone in her care ended up dead. Now, she does recount what happened in the past. She mentions that the person who she was caring for had stomach cancer and was in tons of pain, and because she was neglectful, she left her painkiller, fentanyl or something, and fell asleep, and the person she was caring for, whilst she was asleep, took all these painkillers and died, okay? But then we hear that this story was a lie. So it's like, what actually happened? Either way, her license was suspended. She was suspended from work, and the book opens up with the suspension having lifted. We learn about her past, how she had a very hard time finding jobs, which is very relatable. Like, if you know, you know. So this job kind of found her. And as a result, she is just, you know, trying to make as much money as she can to support herself, which is like, girl, we relate to you. So she is given this job to be the caretaker of this woman named Lenora Hope, who is like this urban legend because she was accused of killing her two parents and her sister. She hung her sister, and then she stabbed the parents, and this was done when she was 17. And despite the fact that all signs point to her having been the killer, she was never actually convicted of the murder, right? So Lenora apparently lived her whole life in this mansion called Hope's End, which is basically this palatial estate on the edge of a cliff, which Lenora, who is now an old lady, lives in with some staff. So Kit is appointed to be the caretaker in that house because the previous caretaker left under very shady circumstances. And I mean, I will say the hook is pretty interesting. The narrator is really good. I am definitely interested to see where the story goes. So given how House Across the Lake ended, I don't even know if I want to bother guessing. So, but you know, just to indulge, I'm gonna guess that Lenora's stroke happened because the current housekeeper did something to cause the stroke, because the housekeeper is like oddly dedicated to Hope's End and this manor and Lenora's life. And it's like, did Lenora do something to her in the past, like kill her boyfriend or kill the dad who this housekeeper is maybe having an affair with? Was the housekeeper responsible for the deaths? Is some random character gonna come out later on in the book who is responsible for all of this? I don't know. And then when Lenora sees Kit, it's like she sees someone who's familiar. So does Kit have like a secret thing in the past that connects her to this Hope's End murder spree? I don't know what's going on. But like, now that I'm thinking about it, I am kind of invested. So we're gonna hope that this is at least 4 stars and not like a whole bunch of bullshit. So yeah, check in soon.
Later that day.
So I got a bit more reading in, and I gotta say, I really do love the atmosphere. I love the way the house is described. I love the way when you look out from the house, you see nothing but ocean for as far as the eye can see. And I love how the house is like tilted because it's on a cliff. It's reminding me so much of the house of Aunt Josephine in A Series of Unfortunate Events, The Wide Window, book 3. So that's the vibe it's kind of giving me. There's like very ornate paintings, and when Kit is passing by the painting, like the eyes are following her. So it's like, ooh, what the hell is going on? Oh, and then we get some flashbacks to the past. I think we're following Lenora's point of view where she's being painted, and we're getting into some fucking Riley Sager bullshit where he's writing from a female protagonist's point of view. And the first thing she thinks of when she's being painted by this man is like, what if I showed this handsome man my breasts? How many women has he painted? Wow, will he like to see me naked? And it's like, Riley, the fuck? So Kit finally does get to meet Lenora, and of course Lenora has a stroke, so she's not talking. But Kit feels like this like air of familiarity with her because Lenora was accused of murder and Kit was accused of something she purports to not be responsible for, but everyone thinks that she was responsible for it, hence the suspension, hence the allegations and urban myth regarding, you know, Lenora and Hope's End. So there is that dynamic thing that gives them something to relate to each other on. So I don't know how this will play out in the story or if this will get addressed in the future, and if that will be the ultimate reason she wants to stay beyond anything else. I mean, like, the reason she's staying is because she has a hard time getting a job. This is the only opportunity she has, and she has this like kinship with the person she's caring for. So that is, you know, pretty good, like, as far as motivation goes compared to what we've been seeing in Sager's other books. So, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
2,000 years later.
Alright, hey everyone. So I am currently about 3 hours and 50 minutes, basically almost 4 hours into the audiobook. There haven't been any like twists or anything. Like there was this reveal-ish, which I will share right now. So basically what's happened is, and I'm gonna give you the update now because I want to go get some food because I'm getting a bit hungry. So yeah, it's kind of giving Verity, and I am kind of like hoping that the big reveal isn't like she was just faking the fact that she had a stroke and then she's the one who's like hiding behind the paintings and spying on people in the house. Like that would be so stupid. So the reveal slash twist-ish was that the person that died under Kit's care was Kit's mom. Like everything was pretty much the same. Like she did leave the drugs out and then it was an accident. She says she didn't do it. In true Riley Sager fashion, we get a point of view from another timeline from Lenora. We get glimpses of her character, her person, who she was back then. Like she felt that this rich house, this existence she lived was very claustrophobic, very isolating. She never felt the touch of a man. She felt insecure because her sister was the more like outgoing one who boys would notice. And like, I don't know how that feels. I was an ugly duckling for a long time and still don't have like the best prospects. Totally gonna die alone. Anyway, the most interesting part so far was this girl, Jessie, who I think is in charge of cleaning the house, was giving a murder tour. So she was showing Kit like where people were killed. So I have a list over here. Evangeline, the mom, was found killed on the staircase, stabbed. The dad was killed in the billiard room. I think his neck was slashed. One of them had a slashed neck. And then the sister, Virginia, who is suspected to be haunting the house, was killed in the ballroom. She was hung from the chandelier. So why was she the only one not stabbed? Like, I can only assume that the people who killed Virginia and the people who killed the parents were two different people. Maybe Lenora was responsible for Virginia's death, and maybe the parents killed each other, because there's this, you know, subplot about how the stock market crashed, so the dad like lost a lot of money, and because of that he tried to do this murder-suicide or some shit like that, and that's really sketchy. We also learned that Lenora's dad was a cheater who, like, she caught him, like, fucking one of the helpers in the house and shit like that. So yeah, the past is pretty messy, and the present is pretty uneventful. Like, it's just her, you know, caring for Lenora, discovering things every now and then, talking about her past. It's like, okay, I'm in the mood for some stuff to start happening now. We have some indication that the previous caregiver of Lenora left under very unusual circumstances. Like, all her stuff is still in the house, so she left in a hurry, or was she killed? I don't know. While Lenora is typing her confession on the typewriter, she outright admits that she was the one who disposed of the murder weapon. So is she confessing to the killing because she suspects that Kit was responsible for the death of her mom, and their kindred spiritness is to do with murder and not being falsely accused? I don't know, but I'm gonna make some food now because I'm fucking hungry. So it's really cold and I'm sick, so I got some food. And I'm debating on, do I want like a hearty beef and vegetable soup, or do I want a creamy chicken? I don't know what I'm in the mood for tonight. I think I'm gonna go with a creamy chicken because I had the beef stew the other night, so I think I'm gonna try something new today. And yeah, hopefully this tastes good. All right, here is my creamy chicken soup. I tried a couple spoons and it is so good. It is delicious. Oh gosh, I love canned food so much. Hi, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna finish this book tonight because I fell asleep. Yeah, I completely fell asleep. I fell asleep listening to it, had to go back like 5 chapters because I was like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway, so this vlog's gonna be a whole ass fucking mess, but chaotic energy, right? So as I said, this book keeps cutting back from past to present, and apparently in the past, Leonora had this thing with a guy named Ricardo Mayhew, Ricky basically, and I think he was one of the people who worked in the estate. She found him cute, he paid attention to her, she was starved of male attention, so she was like, take my virginity, and he was like, yes. So he fucked her in the and she got pregnant, okay? So that becomes like a whole ass subplot in this book, like that's like a whole new thing. And then there's speculation that this Ricardo guy is the murderer because he was one of the ones who didn't leave. It was understood that all the housekeepers left that night, which is why Leonora got accused. But then it's suspected that Ricardo actually stayed that night. We're kind of unaware regarding these circumstances. And then in present day, Kit is hearing some footsteps in Lenora's room. So she suspects A, either someone is going into Lenora's room, or B, Lenora has known how to walk this whole time and is pulling a Colleen Hoover Verity and is, you know, actually going around, walking around, pretending that she doesn't know how to do anything, but she's actually just, you know, fucking with everyone. But then when she confronts Lenora, Lenora's like, yeah, someone is in my room, it's Virginia. Now Virginia is her like dead sister that she allegedly murdered, strangled, hung from the chandelier. So this leads me to suspect, like, she says Virginia is the one who goes into her room. Is Virginia actually Miss Baker? And they're doing like a body double thing where someone who wasn't Virginia died in the past, And then Miss Baker is like her sister this whole time. And she and Virginia teamed up to kill the dad because he killed the mom.
Later that day.
Okay, so we get to a creepy scene where Kit tries to find out who is going into Lenora's room. So she drinks tons of coffee. She's like, I'm gonna stay awake. I'm gonna find out who the fuck this is. And she falls asleep. And then she has a nightmare, and then when she snaps awake, she, I think, hears a scream or something shit like that, or a screech, or something wakes her up. And she goes into Lenora's room and sees that Lenora is like, you know, mortified in fear, like her face is like, ah! And she goes to the typewriter and sees that someone wrote, "It's all your fault," so many times. And she asks Lenora who did this. Lenora says it was her sister Virginia. So is the house actually haunted? Is someone pretending to not be Virginia, but Virginia is still alive and, you know, trying to torture Lenora, which is why I think it's Miss Baker. I think Miss Baker is Virginia because she's the only one who could be that age while simultaneously, you know, doing shit to torment Lenora, like not letting her go outside, probably keeping her sick, probably causing the stroke. That's what I think. But then more stuff happens to arouse the suspicions of Kit to make her think that Lenora is faking her condition. So she tries to test the waters and drops like this super important snow globe that her parents gave her on her hand that she supposedly thinks works. And the hand doesn't move and the snow globe breaks and Lenora is mad. And yeah, it's all a complete fucking mess. So check in soon. Okay, so more shit has happened. So from the past chapters, we learned that Lenora was a illegitimate child, that the mom had her out of wedlock. And then we learned that Lenora is pregnant and she was impregnated by Ricardo and she is called a slut. It's pretty sad. And then in present day, Kit learns about the fact that Lenora was pregnant and we suspect that knowledge concerning this was known to Mary, which is why Mary was ultimately killed. Like, we highly doubt that she actually killed herself because her suitcase is missing, so she was likely pushed off the thing. I don't know if I mentioned that, but like, they found the body of Mary, that the caregiver who was there before Kit was there was murdered. Now we know. Anyway.
2 seconds later.
Shit, okay, so another thing we learn is that Mrs. Baker, the one who I supposedly think is actually Virginia, but probably isn't Virginia, is actually Mrs. Baker, the housekeeper, had an affair with the dad of Lenora. Shit. This shit's insane. Gosh, there are so many moving parts to this story. It's like objectively way more interesting and way better than Survive the Night, which had like nothing going on. And then House Across the Lake, which did have moving parts, but was like stupid. My theory is that the father of Kit is the long-lost son of Lenora. We learned that the child of Lenora was a boy, and she did give birth, and the kid was taken away from her. But then there's another guy who is working alongside Kit in the estate named Carter, who wants to prove that he is the long-lost grandson or son, question mark, of Lenora. And it's like, what's happening? Hey bitch, this may not have a paranormal twist, but this has the smartest use of a Ouija board that I've seen in a thriller/thriller horror adjacent book ever. Okay, so basically, Mrs. Baker, she discovered that Kit was making Lenora type shit on the typewriter, and because she's a sketchy old bitch, she like chucked the typewriter out into the ocean. So now communication can't happen between Kit and Lenora. But we learn, because Kit was doing some sleuthing in Mrs. Baker's room, she found some like receipts that Mrs. Baker was paying for the housing of someone in a nursing home. Kit wants some intel on who this could be. She's like, instead of using a typewriter, she makes Lenora use the fucking Ouija board, and it's like, this is so good. Like, I'm not mad at this book so far. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to see what she's gonna find out, but like, this is, you know, props. Okay, so we learned that the person in the nursing home is Bernice Mayhew, who is the wife of Ricardo Mayhew, Ricky. Ricky is the guy who got Lenora pregnant And we get to a chapter in the past where Bernice is confronting Lenora, and she's like, you're a whore, your family are whores, my husband fucked you, fuck him, he's a whore. So now we have like motive. We have somebody who's pissed off at Lenora, and it's highly implied that Bernice knew what happened that night because she was there when the murders took place. Now, did she do the killing? What happened? I don't know. I have like 3 hours left in the audiobook, and I gotta say, I'm not mad at this book, okay? Like, it's not terrible. I'm hoping it's at least a 4-star. So far, I'm really invested and curious to see what's gonna happen. But this is very refreshing for a Riley Sager book. Like, normally I'm complaining and bitching and moaning and getting really pissed. But, hey, maybe Riley Sager's back. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna actually enjoy this one. We'll see. Okay, so much shit is happening. So she visits Bernice in the nursing home, and Bernice says that she knew that Ricardo was cheating on her with Lenora, so she tried to catch them in the act. But when she caught them in the act, she gets in and she gets into the house and she sees Lenora's bloody hands on the night of the murder and suspects that Ricardo and Lenora teamed up to kill the family. And when Kit is like, so what happened to Ricardo? She says that, Bernice says that Lenora killed Ricardo and dumped his body off the cliff. The detective finds her questioning Bernice and is like, hey, you shouldn't fucking be here, you bitch. And she's like, well, fuck you, you're not doing your job. Mary was murdered. The detective insists that Mary committed suicide, and he's like, we found a suicide note. And she's like, no, you didn't. Mary did not write that. Somebody else fucking wrote that. And then she gets home and she is like, this is ridiculous. And she starts looking at these like old portraits of the Hope family, and she sees something bizarre with Virginia's portrait. So she opens up the urns in the library with the ashes of the dead family members and sees that Virginia's urn is empty. So is Virginia still alive? Was I right? Did I best Riley Sager? Is Virginia someone in this story? Oh my gosh. Is Virginia Mrs. Baker? Is Virginia secretly pretending to be Lenora? Is Mrs. Baker Lenora, who is punishing Virginia, who she says is Lenora? What the fuck is going on? I do not know.
2 seconds later.
I was right. Oh my gosh. Okay, 10 hours into the audiobook, and Kit confronts Mrs. Baker and she's like, you're Lenora, aren't you? Your ass is Lenora. And I was right. Mrs. Baker's like, yeah, I am Lenora, bitch. And apparently the person who had a stroke, who was pretending to be Lenora, is Virginia. I got it. I got it before the thing. I did. I guessed the twist. Go me. I mean, this can't be the only twist. Like, this is like the first twist, but like, I know some shit's gonna happen. She's been pulling this shit for 50 years. Okay, so I have just gone through some narrative whiplash. There was just so much like twist after twist after reveal after reveal. Okay, so it turns out that the past chapters who we suspected were being narrated by Lenora were actually being narrated by Virginia, and that Virginia was impregnated by this guy named Ricky. But Ricky was not the nickname of Ricardo. Ricky was this whole other person, and Ricardo was having an affair. Ricardo, the husband of Bernice, was having an affair with someone who Bernice suspected was Virginia. But the person who Ricardo, who is not Ricky, was having an affair with was Archie, who was another guy who was working on the property, and they planned on running away together. Virginia was the one who got pregnant and had the male child, and the father took the baby away from Virginia, and Miss Baker, the real Mrs. Baker, apparently went and raised the baby in Canada or something. And then Lenora went to Europe back when she, you know, switched identities with Virginia because she wanted to maintain the illusion that Virginia died. And then Lenora came back as Miss Baker to care for Virginia / Lenora. It's so fucking complicated. It's so confusing. But also, I'm not mad. Like, I'm enjoying this fucking book. Like, I am living for this. I am living for a Riley Sager book that has twists on twists. Lenora asserts that Virginia was the one who killed the dad because he took the baby away. I don't know who killed the mom. Still unclear on who killed the parents, but we'll see, okay? But so far, I'm enjoying this book. My hair is a mess. My life's a mess. It's almost 4 in the morning. I fell asleep for 2 hours, so I'm like really awake right now. And I need to fix my sleeping schedule because there's work on Friday and I have to be up at 8. So I'll probably just like finish this, go to bed, get up early, have a quick nap during the day, edit this video. But yeah, so far the new Riley Sager book is not a dumpster fire, so woohoo, celebrate good times, come on. I'm putting my money on the fact that the kid of Virginia is the dad of Kit, and Kit is the granddaughter of Virginia, and when she sees the portrait that Peter did of Virginia, it's gonna look exactly like her. If this doesn't happen, I'm gonna shit myself. Like if the twist is something else, I'm gonna shit myself. But this has to be it. This has to be the fucking twist, okay? Like an hour, 30 minutes left on the audiobook. Should I film myself reacting? I don't know, but like when that shit is revealed in the audiobook, I'm gonna like play it and bitch, we're gonna have a time, okay? And like, bitch, I'm gonna say I told you so because like, it has to be it. It has to fucking be it. Okay, but wait, okay, so let me just explain what I was doing. So I was making myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for myself because I am kind of hungry and don't wanna go to bed with an empty stomach and just be lying down and depressed. So as I was making my fucking peanut butter jelly sandwich, I got to the fucking twist. Kit is like, fuck this shit, I'm getting out of here. Kit gets into the car with Carter, who is the guy who works with her, who suspected that he was the long lost grandson of Lenora Hope / Virginia Hope, pretty much. So Kit reveals to him that Virginia Hope is actually Lenora Hope, and that he is not the grandson, and then she does like deduction in her head, and she comes to the conclusion that Carter likely killed Mary because Mary went to get her blood checked, and Mary proved that Mary was likely the kid of Ricky and Virginia, and because Carter wanted the Hope's End estate and the inheritance, he killed Mary so he would have more chances to prove that he was the child of Virginia and then inherit all this shit. So Kit comes to this conclusion, and then she confronts Carter, and Carter is like, no, you have it all wrong. She drives back home, she gets into her father's house, and in her father's house, she sees a suitcase. And in the suitcase, we see that it is not her father's suitcase, it is Mary's suitcase. And all the letters that I think Virginia wrote to Mary were in that suitcase. And she realizes, okay, her father's name is Patrick. And a nickname for Patrick is Ricky. So Ricky, her father is Ricky, the guy who impregnated Virginia. Who is the kid? Is Mary the kid? Is Mary the kid of Ricky and Virginia? What the fuck is going on? I need to make my sandwich, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm in bed now. I'm gonna try to get some sleep, but bitch, this fucking finale was so, like, this was like whiplash. Like, it was just twist after twist after twist. So basically, we learned that Ricky was the guy that knocked up Virginia. This prompts Kit to go back to Hope's End because she's like, oh shit, this guy's a fucking killer. He killed Mary, he's gonna kill Virginia. And sure enough, he is on the way to kill Virginia. So she tries to get Virginia out and is like, Dad, don't kill her. And the dad's like, I'm gonna fucking kill her. The dad of Virginia paid Ricky hush money to like not tell anyone that he got the daughter pregnant and to just, you know, just fuck off. And he took the money. And Virginia felt very betrayed because of this. And then Lenora comes in and she tries to shoot the dad with a shotgun. One thing leads to another. Kit manages to get Virginia out of the house, and the dad admits that he was the one who killed the mom of Kit by giving her all those pills. And amidst this whole fight, the house on the cliff finally breaks and falls down into the ocean, and Ricky and Lenora stay in the house as it falls to the ocean while Kit and Virginia escape and get back home. And I was like, oh shit, that is so crazy. And then we get to see Virginia like witnessing the real world outside the house, outside the walls of Hope's End, and it's so sweet. And then hard cut to a few days later where we learn Kit is like going around the house and Virginia is gone. And then we see a note, and in that note Virginia goes all hey, I could walk the whole time. So, I mean, we all saw this coming, I bet, but like the fact that she was able to stick with the bit as long as she did was pretty intense. Apparently, Jessie was Virginia's granddaughter. Jessie was the daughter of this guy who was the son of Virginia who died, and Jessie learned about Virginia through her grandmom, the real Mrs. Baker. And Jessie and Virginia moved to Paris with all the money, and all's well that ends well, because I finally gave Riley Sager a 5-star again. This was so good. I just had such a blast, just, you know, guessing all the twists and not being disappointed by bullshit. Am I dreaming? Pinch me. Did Riley Sager actually write a good book? Like, yes, he did. Good job, Riley. I'm gonna try to get some sleep now. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you in future videos, but until then, take care. I lose myself.